Bona, thank you so much for participating in the mycoocoon Creative Color Vision interview. Well, just to start, we wanted to ask you, what is your color that defines your mood in this moment?
I'd say it's blue, but not for negative reasons necessarily. It's just a color that I've always found myself connecting to. I'm wearing it now. Fantastic.
We're going to make this interview in your blue. And what memory does this color trigger to you?
It's not I wouldn't say it's one particular memory. I think it's a collection of being abroad. Actually, blue always makes me feel as though I'm away in sunnier climes, and therefore it evolves memories of calmness. It obviously makes me think of beautiful blue clear skies, of the ocean, and these are very positive feelings, and so yeah, they just evoke memories of calmness for me.
Great, that's a good memory.
Mm-hmm.
And Bona, what is your passion?
I have a lot of passions.
I was trying to say what is your passions, but
yeah, there are a lot of them. I'm very passionate about life. I'm very passionate about being involved as much as I can in life and everything that it has to offer. People are a passion. My friends, I'm incredibly passionate about my friends and my family, of course, that goes without reason. And what I see when I go out with, you know, our phones that are on us constantly, it's photography is what I'm leading to. I always want to capture things that I've seen, things that connect with me for whatever reason. They can be small, they can be large. I have a passion for children. I always have done from a very young age. In the last 10-15 years, I've had a passion for dogs. It's a little bit crazy. I cannot walk down the street without talking to somebody who has a dog. I don't own one. I have a god dog. I have a dog that belongs to some very good friends of mine who live around the corner, and I've been a part of that dog's life since the moment it arrived. So yes.
Great.
Those, yeah, exactly.
So what is your film?
And music.
Music, very
of course,
important.
and very well structured TV and film. Yes, but because that's work, that sort of goes without saying.
Well, that was my next question. What is your field of expertise?
I am a producer, so I'd say my field of expertise is production and anything that involves organization.
Great. And Bona, personally, how are you navigating this pandemic?
Interesting. It's been a period of waves. So I think flexibility has been really important for me, and I've been very flexible with this. I've gone with it. I think that having a community has been incredibly important. I'm also a Buddhist, so my form of Buddhism is Nichiren Daishonin Buddhism, and the organization is called SGI, and so I have a massive network of people that I communicate with on a daily basis, and that's been incredibly encouraging and inspiring, and I've been using the philosophies that form of Buddhism is based upon to reach out to other people, to be supportive to them, to give advice, to be encouraging. There's a slight dichotomy in who I am and what I like to do and navigate in this period, in that I haven't been able to be as active in terms of wanting to volunteer and wanting to really get involved and play my role and play a part in this, because I have an elder sister who is living with me, and so she falls into that category of being one of the vulnerable people. She's almost 70. She has various underlying conditions, so it's incredibly important for me to stay healthy for her sake, not only for myself. So I've struggled with that, not being able to be out there, but I think in general it's been a really interesting period because it's given a lot of time to reflect, to reassess, and to really sort of have a look at what our priorities are. So yeah, there you go, long-winded answer.
Human connections are very, very important. And how do you see aftermath pandemic? What do you see for the future? What the world will need?
I think the world's always needed a change. And I hope that from what everyone is experiencing at the moment, that we'll be able to address these changes. I think that moving forward, when we eventually return to some kind of normality, we're going to be faced with a lot of challenges, and we're going to be faced with a lot of the old challenges that people have had to deal with. So those will be the same, but there are going to be some very new ones. I think it has a lot to do with human behaviour as well. I think there has to be a change in how we behave with one another. So I hope that these are some of the things that we'll be able to deal with and counter when we come out of this.
Great. So I love your vision. So as a creative and producer, how do you see yourself changing your way of working in this new this new
period? I think that's a difficult one to answer. I've been looking at this question and thinking about it a lot, because I think that it's still unfolding. We're all still trying to come to terms with what is taking place and how to implement what the changes are going to be. We don't know what these changes are, I think, certainly in my business. There's, in terms of making content, what we're seeing is a lot of UGC, a lot of user-generated content. I think that's fantastic. I think that's really interesting. It's dynamic, it's funny, it's very original. I think that's going to be implemented a lot going forward.
Yeah, it's a new way of doing, and it's a new way of generating content. But do you think that this content, how it's being done today in this digital way, could be implemented in what you're doing in your work?
I think it has to be. I think it's not a question of whether it will be. It has to be. We're not going to be able to return to work in that same shape. So the whole template's going to change. I think that brands will have to be very in tune with how, on an emotional landscape, how things have changed. I think they'll have to understand, they'll have to be a lot more sensitive to what people have gone through. There's been a lot of deaths, there's been a lot of tragedy. So somehow that has to be taken on board. It has to be integrated into whatever our message going out to people. You know, we have a very captive audience at the moment as well. So with the time that we have on our hands, and we have a lot of time, and I know people are, that obviously there are sections of society that are still working and very busy, but there are just a huge percentage of people who are not able to work to the extent they have been accustomed to in the past, and so they have this amount of time on their hands. And you know, when as an advertiser we're sending this message, we have to be mindful of that we're not dumbing down to people, that we are pulling in the experiences that people have gone through. And you know, there has to be respect, there has to be compassion, we have to use our wisdom, and I think these are the changes that we will see, and that have to be sort of taken on board. But yeah, I think the impact is going to be very far-reaching, and I'm not sure that that's a question that can be answered fully at this stage.
Yeah, that's right. We're waiting for the answers.
Yeah.
And regarding the environment, what do you think about the change on the environment?
I think there have been some fantastic changes that we've all been able to see in the environment, and I'm sure you've heard a lot of these stories. During the first 2 or 3 weeks of lockdown, there were footages of dolphins in Venice, and I have a friend who has a friend of a friend actually, who has this wonderful place in Tuscany on the beach. Obviously, nobody were given permission to be onto the beach, but you would see deer just ambling across, playing in the waves. You know, I think the environment is obviously healing itself during this period, and we need to ensure that we continue with our life going forward with a respect for the environment so that it can continue in this way. It's positive at the moment. It's positive. We just have to hang on to that.
Yeah, I think that I agree. I think we're living a positive time and a time of sharing and protecting our planet. So Bona, thank you very, very much for participating to this interview with us. And
You're more than welcome.
let's connect very soon and keep sharing visions for humanity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.